let's deal with what your take on this and tie it with last, because we have some 5 minutes to wrap up, with the issues of the constitution, whether or not it's outlived its purpose and whether or not we have planned to fail even from the first topic, dealing with the constitution.
So the constitution, it's from a legal perspective, it's a unique document.
Right.
I mean, it's not as simple as we see it.
Yeah, I can understand. If you don't talk about it that way, if you go back, they will...
Oh don't put my brother in that position.
No,
the constitution is a unique document. It is indeed a unique document. Away from that, but my first...
I like that.
My first publication I made on the constitution, I actually conducted a latent analysis of the Ghana's past constitutions, there were 8 or 9 that we've had.
Okay.
And then, so I said, well, did a living organism die? The whereabouts of Ghana's past constitutions. What I chronicle, the growth of the constitution. And so it's pretty much a view I've been having over the past years
that this is a unique one.
It's a unique one. And I mean, the law puts it for it being unique because it grows. So I know the debate surrounding we need a new constitution. There's been a review process over the past years. Some governments have not been able to implement. Government have issued white paper trying to pick and choose which one suits them. And also we have some of the articles which need to be touched on because for political reasons they know they're going to suffer the consequences. So we've left them, or we've actually shelved them. Also of the fact that past leaders have indemnified themselves and all that. There are conversations around that. But if you look at the judicial mechanism of interpretation, and that was one of the theories I postulated, that in the law, the court has a way of interpreting it in order to respond to the times. And constitutional experts too have also warned us that, reviewing a constitution is not just one that you do it out of fashion or regularly.
Right.
Because times change. And so we look at the interpretation of how the judge would give a broad, spirited meaning of a particular provision to respond to the times. And so I will not be too quick to call for a constitutional review. However, there are very obvious provisions that need to be touched on. And constitutional law experts have propounded all these. The Constitutional Review Committee's reports, that so much power we give to, the president or the executive. It's been suggested that can we have some of the appointments made political, which is quite straight, and then others also some authority taken from the president and perhaps given to parliament. I mean, another constitutional law guru, my dean, Professor Tuguba, tells you Ghana has beautiful laws. And
even in the current state.
Yes, I mean, if you take a closer look at it, you see how the laws were structured with fine brains individuals of the time. Because nothing significantly has changed.
Sure.
We talked about the disguised form of democracy, how the press is still being gagged and suffocated now.
So it's not about the letter, it's the spirit.
It's the spirit. And it's also sometimes the grease or the elbows that we put to it. Some of the problems the constitution is facing, I don't know what people say that, okay, so we amend the year that a youth can stand for presidency. And then we have a number of youth running to run for elections. Does it guarantee quality? Does it change the corruption that we're talking about? Does it change the underdevelopment that our constituencies have? Reason I'm saying that some are germane. I mean, let's look at the constituency level. Our DCs, an individual. How do we elect them, for instance? Can we take some powers away from the president? Give it to institutions to equip institutions and empower them. Those are quite germane issues that we need to look at. But broadly speaking, it served as well. And what I talk about interpretation, where the judge has the dynamism or the legal spirit to be able to look at the spirit or the intendment of the framers to be able to do that. So it's not as we see it. Another point is about the responsibilities that we have as citizens in this document. So while we call for the president's, powers being pruned in order to give more power to the people, how many of us are genuinely paying our taxes? How many of us are protecting state properties? How many of us are aware of the cultural values and directive state policy, policy of directive, state policy, the principles in there enshrined in the Constitution? How many of us are practicing it? So again, it's a collective effort. Reading the preamble clearly tells you that in the name of God and the people. So we hold the Constitution aside the judiciary playing its role. So I would not be quick to call for a review. I'd rather look at the very obvious provisions which need urgent attention.
I see.
And then we tackle it.
I see.
But we need to ourselves go into it and see the rules that we have, and more importantly, preserve the laws that we have.
The choice, and I think we would want to end on that one. We have